Welcome back. President Biden announcing a last-minute ban on new offshore gas and oil drilling across 625 million acres of U.S. coastal territory. This happening just 2 weeks before President-elect Trump takes office. Biden invoking the 1953 Outer Continental Shelf Lands Act, which means Trump will need congressional authority to reverse this move. Trump blasted the move yesterday. Watch.
It's ridiculous. I'll unban it immediately. I will unban it. I have the right to unban it immediately. What's he doing? Why is he doing it? He doesn't even know what 625 million acres would look like, and we can't let that happen to our country. It's our greatest. It's really our greatest economic asset, and we're not going to let that happen to our country.
Joining me now is Louisiana Attorney General Liz Murrill. AG, thanks very much for being here this morning. You've been threatening a federal lawsuit over this drilling ban. You wrote this on X. After 4 years of incompetence and bureaucratic reign by D.C. over the American people, Joe Biden's parting gift is to attack America's energy independence. This is a direct threat to our national security and the hardworking men and women of the country. So, AG, where are you on this lawsuit?
Well, we're drafting the lawsuit as we speak, and we expect to file it as soon as possible. You know, it's just another strike at America's energy independence, and it's really irresponsible, and I think it's even vindictive.
So what do you think will happen? I mean, you're going to file a lawsuit against who? The Biden administration?
Well, we'll sue the Biden administration, and then that will convert to the Trump administration as the defendant as soon as there's a change in administrations. But, you know, I'm confident that President Trump is going to work to reverse this. And, you know, but we can't stop. We can't wait for that to happen. We have to sue and try to block this action now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it looks like, you know, Trump just said that I'll unban it, but it's not going to be that easy, is it?
It's not that easy. We've been through this before with the Obama administration, and we've been through it with acreage up in Alaska. And we know that there will be environmental groups that are going to try and intervene in these lawsuits and block the reversal of this policy. So we just have to prepare for the fight.
Yeah. President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden, meanwhile, visited New Orleans yesterday to honor the victims of the New Year's Day terrorist attack, mourning 14 people killed on Bourbon Street last week. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry is now pushing Biden to issue a disaster declaration. Meanwhile, consulting firm Interfor International filed a report back in 2019 finding, quote, politics and bickering hindered security in New Orleans, French Quarter. They strongly recommended bollard mobilization on Bourbon Street to be fixed immediately, AJ. You're ordering the Louisiana Bureau of Investigation to open a full review of security plans from New Year's Eve and the Sugar Bowl. What is this review going to look at, and what is your instinct here? What happened?
You know, I think it's going to dissect everything that led up to this event, all of the planning, all of the organizational, you know, subdivisions and agencies and operations in New Orleans that were involved or not involved, that maybe should have been involved. And then we're going to see where that takes us. But you know, this is not the only event that we've seen happen in New Orleans. I think we've got to look at the problems there holistically and see what kind of dysfunction is occurring and then fix it. And the governor is committed to doing that, and I'm committed to doing that.
Well, I mean, what a report, Joe Borelli. Politics and bickering actually affecting national security, and now this.
Yeah, look, in my day job, I chair the National Forum of Republican Mayors and Council Members, and one thing I could say is pretty universal across the board is that cities take a great deal of pride in ensuring security is sort of, you know, top of their list as far as what they're doing. Reading this report, I mean, it is clear that there is some real fundamental problems with New Orleans government. Are you concerned that it goes beyond just politics, bickering? Are you concerned that there's been corruption over the years that caused these local decision makers to enact some of the changes they made?
You know, it's hard to say. That's why we're going to do a top-to-bottom review. It's possible that we would uncover some issues along those lines in certain areas, and it's possible that it's just lack of coordination, lack of a sense, possibly a sense of complacency that had set in. You know, I'm going to look at every aspect of this, and we are not going to be shy about identifying all of the problems. And there's already been lawsuits that have been filed, so that process would occur anyway. I just think it needs to happen from government officials that are in a position to do something about it.
Well, I mean, politics seems to have laced everything in this administration. I mean, AG, what are you going to find out with this lawsuit against the drilling ban? What are you looking to find? Was that politics as well?
Absolutely, that's politics, and you know, it's just kind of while they're packing their bags and getting ready to move out of the Oval Office, they want to, you know, kick the Trump administration on their way out the door. And you know, we're going to do everything we can to reverse the policy. We support President Trump, and we know that he has been a great defender of energy independence in America, and Louisiana certainly has been a fighter against some very bad Biden administration policies over the last 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, I just, you know, talk to us about why this is the wrong move for the Biden administration. Is this just to make things tougher for President Trump coming in, or is there just a real ideology against drilling in America that Joe Biden holds?
Oh, I think it's both of those things. You know, no doubt there has been, you know, extreme hostility to the oil and gas industry from the beginning of this administration. All you have to do is look at the very first executive orders that were issued, and that hostility has been pervasive. The president promised that he would attack the oil and gas industry, and he would use the entirety of the federal government to do it, and he kept that promise. And so, yeah, I think a lot of this is hostility to oil and gas. But I also think that it is hostility toward the Trump administration, and to make it very hard as possible as they can for the administration to come in and reverse these policies.
Wow, what political games. Unbelievable. AG, thanks very much. We'll be watching this develop. We appreciate your time. AG Liz Murrill joining us this morning. Thank you.